Friday morning, nice to be on the Labor Day weekend vacation. Of course, I'm going to be doing some work around here today. Say hi, Mandy and Gorgie. Gorgie's trying to eat that food before Mandy scarfs that up. And well, I thought this morning we had kind of a disappointment, guys. And one of the things that kind of rankles me, but I can understand it in a way, but then in another way, I have a problem with it is. We wanted to stay at a local RV park up in Windsor, which is about 10 miles north of us, up Sonoma County. And they have that, we called to make the reservation, and they have that 10-year, your rig has to be 10-year or newer. So, I tried to argue that the, the Rolling Rancho is like a classic, right? And it didn't seem to cut any ice with them. So, it's kind of disappointing. I just feel like I understand why they don't want deadbeat rigs coming in and just, people abandoning them and stuff. So they have a vested interest. Where are you going? Huh? You going on board? Come on, let's go. Georgie's excited. Come on, Gorgie, let's go aboard. So I wanted to talk about, having said that, I want to talk about some long-term goals on here. And one of the things I've noticed, yesterday I did the repair of the license plate light. Let me double check that again. Just trying to make sure everything is running well on the rig here. I know it's kind of a mess inside. It's a work in progress, right? Now let me try the pop the lights on. We don't need them on full. I don't have an alarm too. If you leave your lights on, then you will definitely be draining your batteries down. So you've got the side lights up, got them changed out. Yeah, and there's the rear lights on there, and that's just enough that we need. We don't need it uber bright on there, so that's good. We turn that off, and then we'll talk about some of the things that I want to get accomplished, some of the other stuff, since I'm obviously part of the deadbeat wing of the RV community. How you like them apples? Kind of sucks to realize that. Well, I've got to get the vacuum working. You guys realize that. I have to pull that motor out and see what's going on in there. One of my long-term goals, if you look at some of the hardware, I've been tried, like the license plate bracket, the light holder, I've changed that out to stainless steel screws, because I don't like this weathering effect that you see on here with some of these screws. So I want to try to be real careful and change out. A long-term project is to change out the hardware here to cut over to stainless, and that means the big screws too and stuff, and I think it'll be a lot better. We've got like hinges too. All of these compartments use hinges, obviously. But the problem is they get kind of funky. And I think over on this side, when I was checking the oil yesterday, you can see, yeah, it's kind of weak up there. And you can see how that doesn't have much of a, you can see the torsion on that as I twist that a little bit. So these are things that I would like to change out long term. You can see these screws, they're all a mismatch of stuff. Here, I'd like to change them all out. This really needs to be cleaned up good. This grill, the silvering has to be done on the front, same thing here. So there's definitely some cosmetic things to be improved. Obviously, this can be cleaned up, and some Rust-Oleum, silver Rust-Oleum put on here to sort of clean this stuff. up. You can see some of the sealing material here. The gasket, you know, this spreads the gasket for a tight seal. I don't know if I want to mess with that too much until it's necessary. But today I want to turn my attention to the drawers in here. And one of the big issues I have with the drawer, you can see the way that they're kind of screwed up here. So I want to, obviously some of the stays, some of the drawer stays, the slide bottoms here have gone out. And then this afternoon I'll probably get some new type of latching hardware. And I hope the lighting's okay. Well, Rosie, why don't you put on a light? Latching hardware here. You can see we have a back piece there, like a male piece. And then we have the female, but the reason this is taped is this thing just flops open here. You know, it's not a very secure fit. So I may end up changing all the hinges here, or these grabbers, to make them better, or else changing out these heads on here. Well, it's not as bad as I thought it would be, because we got two of the slide guides here. The supports are in good shape. It's this third one that got kind of really wrecked on the tongue and groove up here. So we're gonna have to fashion this thing out, do a little bit of carpentry here to get a new piece. I don't think I'm going to be able to salvage this with the split and everything. See, it's got a pretty nasty split in there. So I'm going to go ahead and see what I got in the shop, do some measurements, and see if I can do a little shaping here to get this upper drawer set. Alright, I didn't have the perfect wood to do that, but I have a lot of scrap stock around here on the Rancho, as you can imagine. So I've gone ahead and laid that on to trace that down. I'm going to take the radial saw and cut that. Now let me give you a little caution from carpentry. You don't want to just cut this thing to size and then try to run a radial saw up and down that short distance. You'll do some damage to yourself. So I want a lot of stock back here to hold on to while I run the saw forward. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off about right up here after I'm done this cut, and then I can do the side cut to length and then do the shaping that I need to do. So safety glasses and be careful. To do now is just cut it to the right length here, and we are good to go. I want to get that precise as I can be. Let size match there. Let's go ahead and do that end cut here. There we go. And it should be all set. That's the way that you can safely, without worrying kickback and things like that, the saw kicking back. Make sure you use a very fine tooth blade on there, and you can cut a piece out of a big section there safely without hurting yourself. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of end shaping here, and we should be able to slide this new slide guide in and be good to go. Alright. Make my marks following the old pattern here. And that's exactly what we want to do. Alright guys, we'll see you when we're done the shaping. I'm going to get the saber saw out and get this cut. Alright guys, there's the original that was busted up You can see, and then you can see the one that we shaped on the back side there. And I've also put a little bit of a taper, a little bit of a wedge shape for good holding. I don't want to do what Jerry Garcia did and drive a screw in the end of it hanging out into the coach, because all that did was split the wood at the end there and caused this thing to fail. So I want to get some glue and glue it in. Hopefully she'll be a good tight fit. This thing should be snug and flush, so I'll see you at the coach. Okay, apologies for the lighting. We'll just go ahead and give a dry fit on that piece. There, we'll put it in the back. I got a hole in the back, and yeah, there we go in the front. So we should be able to just hit this with some white glue, some carpenter glue. Put some down there. Let's open it up first, Rosie. Work that down there, and we'll work some on the sides of this tongue side here, and on the groove, and this should allow it to really stay in position there. And now we'll drive her home, and I think we're going to let it dry into position so it's perfectly flush on the front end. We don't want any kind of issues with that. Okay, so we're going to let that dry good, and then by this afternoon this should really be super set up, and we should be ready to put that drawer in. So yeah, a little bit of carpentry here. The other thing I wanted to talk about up top side is these, let me take this off the stand, the camera. These things do adjust here, so I might try making some adjustments here to get these cabinets fit a little tighter with these screw heads, these round head screws that go in. So all right, I'm going to try doing a little bit of adjusting here. Just a PS, I ended up using a very thin bugle drywall screw here, but about half the distance that the old one I took out, and that's given a really good grip. Plus the drawers cover up that. I will probably hit that with a little, I have some of the little fill paste here. Hit that and make sure that may actually remove and countersink that a little bit, so it's kind of below level for a fill. One of the issues that had to be addressed, you can see the what would you call them, the stays on the bottom to keep the drawer from tipping out when you pull it out, and of course that had to be removed for the refashioned slide here. So what I ended up doing, I hope you'll be able to see it under there. You can see I took a maybe you'll be able to see that, I took a piece of coated, like a 10 gauge wire there, and hooked that down each side underneath of the of the slide there. So not tightly, but loose enough. It's not supposed to hold up the whole thing. So now when you pull out the drawer, it's impossible for the drawer to tip forward. So I'm going to call that a job pretty well done, and end part one of today's activities. And stay tuned. We're going to be addressing the doors here and the hinges and the stays on them. Thanks for being along, everybody.